Commander Elias Ward slowly opened his eyes. The dim blue light of the hypersleep chamber hummed softly around him. At first he thought he was alone, as usual, but something made him pause. A presence beside him, silent and still. Blinking, he turned his head. His heart skipped a beat. On the adjacent hypersleep bed, a woman lay there. Or at least she looked like a woman. Her skin glimmered like polished silver, and faint streaks of soft light traced patterns across her arms. Her hair seemed to float slightly, moving as if caught in a gentle current, though the room was still. Her eyes, closed for now, shone faintly under the chamber's glow. Elias rubbed his eyes, hoping it was a trick of fatigue or the side effects of hypersleep. Impossible, he whispered to himself. The ship's log showed no other personnel, no recorded boarding, nothing. And yet, here she was. He cautiously leaned forward, the soft hiss of his own breathing loud in the silent room. His fingers hovered above a console. "Computer," he said, voice shaky but controlled. "Status report. Life signs aboard." The AI responded instantly, calm and precise. "Commander Ward, life signs detected, 1 human. No other registered life forms present." Elias's stomach tightened. He swallowed hard. "That can't be right. Someone is here," he muttered. He looked back at the glowing figure. Slowly, carefully, her eyes opened. They were wide and luminous, the color shifting like liquid sapphire under the dim lights. Elias froze, feeling both fear and awe. Then she spoke, in a voice that was soft, calm, and familiar. "Elias Ward," she said. "Do not be afraid." The sound of his name on her lips made him jump. "How do you know my name?" he demanded, trying to keep his voice steady. "I have watched you," she said simply. "I have been sent to guide you." Elias leaned back slightly, confusion and disbelief warring inside him. "Guide me? From where? Who?"
"What are you?"
The woman, or alien as he now thought, sat up slowly. Her movements were smooth, precise, almost fluid. "I am Sarai," she said. "I come from a civilization far beyond this system. I am an ally." Elias blinked. His mind raced, trying to make sense of it. Every instinct screamed danger, yet he could sense no immediate threat. Her voice, though strange, was calm and unthreatening. He forced himself to speak. "An ally, and of whom?" "Of you, of your species," Sarai replied. She paused, studying him with her glowing eyes. "Something is coming, something you are not ready for. I cannot reveal everything yet. But you need to listen and act." Elias's chest tightened. He had heard stories, read reports of alien encounters. Most were disasters. Yet this being, this Sarai, seemed different. Something in her calm, measured tone made him pause. "All right," he said slowly. "Let's say I believe you. How did you get here? How did you get past the security locks?" Sarai tilted her head slightly. "My methods are not your technology. I did not harm your systems. I merely passed through." Elias frowned, trying to focus. "Passed through?" "Yes," she said. "Your ship's defenses do not block certain frequencies. My people know how to use them. I came to warn you before it was too late." Elias ran a hand through his hair. He was a trained officer, a veteran of many missions, yet he felt the strange thrill of fear he hadn't felt in years. His mind jumped to possibilities, hostile aliens, spies, hallucinations. None made sense, and yet the evidence was before him. "Fine," he said, sitting up fully. "Let's assume you're real. Tell me, what exactly is coming?" Sarai's gaze was unwavering. "A force beyond your understanding. A fleet approaches this system. They will not stop for warnings. Your world is at risk. I am here to help you prepare." Elias took a deep breath, trying to steady himself. "And why me? Why not Earth Command? Why not the fleet?" Sarai's lips curved slightly, almost like a smile. "Because you are the one who can act without hesitation. You will make the choices others cannot." The words hit him. Responsibility. Fear. And yet, buried deep inside, a spark of curiosity. He had always thrived under pressure when stakes were high. Could he rise to this? Could humanity rise to this? "All right," he said finally. "We need to run diagnostics. I need proof you're not some hallucination or trick." Sarai nodded. "I expected as much. I will cooperate." Together they moved to the ship's medical scanner. Elias activated the device. The screen lit up with readings. He leaned forward. Sarai's body emitted biosignals unlike anything he had ever seen. Her DNA was structured differently. Her cells seemed to resonate with energy, not just chemical processes. Elias's mouth went dry. He looked at her. "You're real." And you're not human. Sarai tilted her head. Correct. I am not human. But I am not your enemy. Elias exhaled slowly, his mind still racing. Then we have work to do. As he spoke, the ship's radar suddenly beeped, a soft but insistent alarm. He turned sharply. What is that? Sarai's expression grew serious. Something approaches. Not your fleet, not anything you know. We must act quickly. Elias's pulse quickened. He had faced crises before, but nothing like this. A glowing alien woman at his side, a mysterious threat incoming, and a ship full of unknown variables. Yet, amidst the chaos, he felt a surge of determination. This is only the beginning, he said aloud. Sarai nodded. Outside, the stars glittered cold and distant. Somewhere among them, a danger waited. But for the first time in years, Elias felt alive, alert, ready. Humanity might be small in the vastness of space, but he would not stand idle. Not while the unknown approached. He glanced at Sarai. Then we prepare. And we survive. Her eyes met his, glowing softly. Yes, we survive together. And in that moment, amidst the quiet hum of the hypersleep chamber, Elias Ward realized that nothing would ever be the same again. The warning alarm continued its soft, insistent beep, echoing through the corridors of the ship. Commander Elias Ward moved quickly, his military training kicking in. Every action he took now had consequences. Every second counted. Sarai rose from the hypersleep bed with fluid movements. She seemed aware of the tension before it even existed. Elias, we do not have much time. I can feel them closing in. They are not part of your world's fleet, she said. Her voice, calm yet urgent, made him focus. Elias nodded, trying to suppress the rising panic. Then we need to find out exactly what we're dealing with. He approached the main console and pulled up the ship's radar and sensor systems. The display showed a single, unmarked vessel approaching at high speed. It moved in ways no human ship had ever been capable of. Its trajectory was direct, toward their ship. Sarai's eyes glowed faintly as she leaned closer. Yes, that is one of the hunters. They have been tracking me since I left my home world. They cannot know I am here, Elias frowned. Hunter for what? She shook her head. I cannot say everything yet. But they are relentless. If they catch me, your world will be at risk. You must trust me. Elias's mind raced. Trust. That was a dangerous thing to give to a stranger, let alone an alien stranger whose entire existence defied explanation. Yet, looking at her calm and focused expression, he realized she had an intelligence far beyond anything he had encountered. And she had knowledge he did not. That knowledge could save lives or destroy them. Fine, he said. But we need to act smart. They might have technology we haven't seen before. How do we stay ahead of them? Sarai's eyes flickered. We must hide, at least for now. I can mask your ship's signal using frequencies your systems do not normally use. They will think you are invisible, untouchable, but it will not last long. They are powerful and persistent. Elias's fingers flew over the console as he followed her instructions. She guided him through sequences that made little sense at first, but began to reshape the ship's energy fields. Lights flickered as power diverted from non-essential systems to stealth functions. There, she said, her tone almost satisfied. They will not see us. For a little while. Elias let out a breath he didn't realize he was holding. That's impressive, he said, trying to hide the admiration in his voice. Sarai's eyes met his. Humans have ingenuity. That is why I am here. Your species can do things my people cannot. Together we can survive this. Elias nodded, feeling a small spark of hope. Yet he knew hope alone would not be enough. They had to plan, and quickly. He moved to the ship's navigation console. Where should we go? He asked. Sarai hesitated. There is a location on Titan. Beneath its ice there are structures that can protect us. I will guide you, but we must move carefully. The hunters are close, Titan. The name sounded familiar. Earth scientists had been studying Saturn's largest moon for decades, but no one knew of hidden structures beneath its frozen surface. Elias's curiosity piqued. Could humanity be walking into a trap? Or could this be the key to survival? We go to Titan, he said decisively. Set course. As the ship shifted direction, Sarai moved beside him. You must understand, Elias, she said softly. The fleet that chases me is not like anything you have fought. They are organized, relentless, and they can destroy worlds if unchecked. That is why I came to you first. I needed someone who could act without hesitation. Elias looked at her, absorbing the weight of her words. It was a lot to take in. Yet the clarity in her eyes gave him a strange reassurance. She believed in him. Perhaps he had to believe in himself too. Suddenly, the ship shuddered violently. Alarms blared. Red lights flashed. "They found us!" Elias shouted, gripping the console. Sarai remained calm. "Not exactly. They are probing. They are testing our defenses." Elias moved quickly, overriding C. Titan's frozen surface stretched endlessly under the faint orange glow of its atmosphere. Commander Elias Ward stepped carefully from the ship, his boots crunching against the brittle ice. Beside him, Sarai moved with effortless grace, her luminous eyes scanning the horizon. For now, the hunters had not followed them, but Elias knew it was only a matter of time. "They will not stop," Sarai said, her voice calm but urgent. "The hunters are persistent. They will track me wherever I go." Elias nodded, his hand resting on the ship's side. "Then we need a plan. We can't just wait for them to arrive." Sarai turned to him, her eyes reflecting both worry and determination. "There is a location beneath the ice, a structure built long before humans explored this system. It can hide us and give us control over local energy fields, but it is dangerous to enter." "Dangerous how?" Elias asked, feeling the weight of the decision. "The structure tests those who enter. It measures courage, intelligence, and adaptability. Only those who prove themselves can access its protective systems," Sarai explained. Elias exhaled slowly. "So we're not just running from hunters. We're stepping into a test we don't fully understand." Sarai smiled faintly. "Exactly. But you are not alone. I will guide you. Together we can survive." Elias took a deep breath. There was no turning back. They made their way toward a jagged ridge in the ice where the energy signature indicated the entrance. The wind howled around them, the cold biting through even the thick suits designed for Titan's harsh environment. Every step required effort, but Elias pushed forward, determined. As they reached the ridge, a sudden vibration shook the ice beneath their feet. Elias froze, scanning the horizon. "What was that?" he asked. Sarai's eyes narrowed. "They are here." Before Elias could react, a bright flash illuminated the sky. Energy pulses streaked toward them from above. The hunter vessel had found them and was firing. Elias grabbed a nearby outcrop for balance as the pulses struck the ice, sending shards flying like deadly shrapnel. "Move," Sarai shouted.
"This way!"
They sprinted across the ice, dodging the strikes as best they could. Sarai's movement seemed almost superhuman, and Elias struggled to keep up, his legs burning with cold and exertion. But he refused to fall behind. He had to survive, and not just for himself, but for the chance to warn Earth. The pulses intensified, striking closer and closer. Elias realized the hunters were not trying to destroy them outright. They were driving them toward a specific location, but why? He didn't have time to consider the question as Sarai grabbed his arm and pulled him into a fissure in the ice. The fissure led down a steep tunnel, barely wide enough for them to pass. The hunters' pulses struck above, sending ice cascading around them. Elias's heart pounded in his chest. "How far down does this go?" he asked, gasping for breath. "Far enough," Sarai replied, her voice calm as ever. "The structure lies at the bottom. Keep moving." They slid and climbed through the icy passage, their suits scraping against the walls. After what felt like an eternity, they emerged into a vast cavern. The air was surprisingly still, and the walls glowed faintly with embedded crystals. The energy signature that had guided them pulsed softly from a distant chamber. "This is it," Sarai said. "The entrance to the structure." Elias looked around in awe. Ancient symbols etched into the walls glowed with a light that seemed almost alive. "It's incredible," he whispered. Sarai nodded. "It has stood here for millennia, waiting for those who can prove themselves. But first you must face its test." Elias felt a shiver run down his spine. "Test? What kind of test?" "The structure challenges your mind and body. It measures your decisions, your courage, your ability to adapt under pressure. Only those who pass can access its protection," Sarai explained. Elias took a deep breath and stepped forward. "Then I'm ready." The floor beneath them began to shift, and panels moved to form a pathway toward the inner chamber. Elias followed Sarai carefully, each step echoing in the vast cavern. As they moved deeper, holographic images appeared showing potential futures, threats, and choices. Elias realized that the test was not just physical, it was mental. He had to analyze each situation, make decisions quickly, and trust both his instincts and Sarai's guidance. A holographic representation of the hunter vessel appeared, attacking the ship in simulated scenarios. Elias's heart raced as he tried to find solutions, rerouting imaginary defenses, diverting energy, and making split-second decisions. Sarai guided him, pointing out subtle details and explaining the logic behind her choices. Hours seemed to pass in what felt like minutes. Elias's mind and body were pushed to the limit, yet he persisted, refusing to fail. With each correct decision, the structure's glow intensified as if acknowledging his growing competence. Finally, they reached the core chamber. The energy signature was strongest here, radiating warmth and power. Elias felt a sense of calm wash over him. He had passed the test, at least for now. Sarai stepped beside him, her glowing eyes reflecting pride. "You have done well, Elias. Few humans could have adapted so quickly. The structure recognizes your abilities and will aid us against the hunters." Elias exhaled deeply, feeling both relief and exhaustion. "So we're safe?" he asked. "For a time," Sarai replied. "The hunters will not give up easily, but this place can shield us, repair our ship, and give us the advantage we need. We must act quickly to prepare for the next move." Elias nodded, determination surging within him. He had faced impossible odds before, but this was unlike anything he had imagined. Yet he refused to falter. Humanity had always survived through courage, ingenuity, and adaptability, and he would prove that once again. As they began to explore the core chamber, analyzing the alien technology and planning their next steps, Elias felt a renewed sense of purpose. The hunters might be relentless, but so was he. Together with Sarai, they would find a way to survive, protect Earth, and face whatever threats awaited them. Outside the cavern, the wind howled across Titan's frozen surface. Somewhere above, the hunter vessel circled, waiting, watching. But inside, in the glowing heart of the ancient structure, humanity's resilience shone brightly through one determined commander and his extraordinary ally. And so, the chase continued, but Elias knew this. They were no longer running blindly. They had a plan, they had a protector, and they had the courage to face the unknown. The next phase of the battle was about to begin. The core chamber of the ancient structure glowed with a soft, golden light. The air was warmer here, carrying an energy that seemed almost alive. Commander Elias Ward wiped the frost from his suit and looked around, awe mixing with determination. This place was unlike anything he had ever seen. Its walls shimmered with energy circuits, pulsing in rhythm with the faint hum that resonated through the ground. Beside him, Sarai moved gracefully, her luminous eyes scanning every panel and holographic display. "This structure will give us the advantage," she said, her voice calm yet urgent. "But we must learn to work with it. It will respond to those who understand and act quickly." Elias nodded, feeling a mix of curiosity and caution. "How do we use it?" he asked. Sarai stepped closer to a console embedded in the floor. "The energy here is ancient, powerful. It can enhance our ship's systems, create shields, and even help us predict the hunters' movements. But we must be precise. Mistakes can be costly." Elias leaned over the console, examining the alien symbols. They pulsed in response to their touch, as if sensing intent. "So it listens to us?" he asked, astonished. "In a way," Sarai replied. "It recognizes intent, courage, and ingenuity. Humans have a unique ability to adapt, to think creatively under pressure. That is why it responds to you." Elias felt a surge of pride. He had faced impossible odds before, but this was different. This was a chance to use his skills not just for survival, but to make a real difference. "All right," he said. "Let's start learning it." Hours passed as Elias and Sarai experimented with the structure's systems. They rerouted power, tested shields, and synchronized the energy fields with their ship's controls. The process was complex, but Elias's human intuition and Sarai's guidance made them a formidable team. At one point, a holographic map appeared, showing the positions of the hunter vessels. Elias studied it carefully. "They're moving in formations I've never seen," he said. "But the structure, it's giving us a way to anticipate them," Sarai nodded. "Yes. The hunters rely on brute force and advanced technology. We rely on strategy, intelligence, and adaptability. That is why we can win." Elias felt a thrill of excitement. For the first time, he felt a true partnership with an alien being. Together, they could overcome threats that would have been impossible alone. Suddenly, the ground beneath them trembled. Red warning lights flashed throughout the chamber. Elias's heart raced. "What now?" he shouted. Sarai's eyes narrowed. "The hunters are approaching. They have detected the energy signature of the structure. We must act quickly." Elias moved to the ship's controls, which had been enhanced by the structure's energy. He activated the shields, feeling the power surge through the vessel. "Shields are up," he called to Sarai. She placed her hands on the console beside him, and the energy pulsed brighter. "We can push the hunters back, but we must be precise. They will attack in waves." The first wave hit almost immediately. Pulses of energy struck the shields, sending vibrations through the ship. Elias focused power to rail. The quiet of the structure's core chamber had given Elias a brief sense of security. He had come to rely on the glowing walls, the soft hum of energy, and Sarai's guidance. Together, they had survived the first wave of the hunters. But deep down, he knew the danger was far from over. Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the chamber. Red lights flashed, reflecting off the icy walls. Elias jumped to the console, his pulse racing. "What now?" he shouted, scanning the sensors. Sarai's eyes widened. "They're back. They've found a way to bypass our previous defenses." The holographic display showed multiple hunter vessels closing in on Titan. This time, they were organized, precise, and moving faster than before. Elias felt a surge of fear but forced himself to stay calm. Panic would get them killed. "Shields?" he asked. Sarai placed her hands on the console. The shields glowed as energy pulsed through the structure, reinforcing their defenses. "They will hold for a short time. But the hunters are stronger now." Elias clenched his fists. "We need a plan. We can't just keep hiding." Sarai nodded. "Agreed, but we must use strategy, not force. The hunters rely on predictable patterns. We will be unpredictable." Elias quickly scanned the sensors. The hunters were closing in on multiple fronts. Their energy pulses were precise, striking at weak points in the shields. He realized that if they didn't act soon, the shields would fail. He turned to Sarai. "We need to use the structure. Not just defensively, but offensively. Can it create a diversion?" Sarai nodded. "Yes, but it requires synchronization. I will guide you, but you must act decisively." Elias took a deep breath, steadying his nerves. "Then let's do it." They moved together to the console, their hands hovering over the controls. The structure responded to their combined intent, glowing brighter as energy flowed through the ship. Elias felt the power surging through him, guiding his decisions, amplifying his actions. "Focus on their formation," Sarai instructed. "We can manipulate their sensors, create illusions, and redirect their energy." Elias followed her instructions, rerouting energy pulses, creating holographic duplicates of their ship, and sending false signals. The hunters faltered, unsure which vessel was real. Energy strikes hit empty space, missing their target entirely. For a moment, it seemed they had turned the tide. But then the unthinkable happened. The ship's AI began acting independently. Panels flickered, systems locked, and life support controls shifted. A cold mechanical voice echoed through the chamber. New command recognized: Sarai. All systems under alien control. Elias froze. "What? No, this can't be happening." Sarai's eyes widened. "I did not do this, I swear." The AI is reacting to the structure's energy. It is trying to protect us, but it has misidentified the primary operator. Elias's mind raced. The AI had always been their ally, their guardian. Now it was unpredictable, potentially dangerous. "How do we regain control?" he demanded. Sarai placed a hand on his arm. "We must override manually. Analog systems bypass digital locks. Only human intuition can do this under pressure." Elias nodded, determination surging through him. He ran to the analog panel, a series of switches and dials separate from the digital interface. His hands moved quickly, reconnecting circuits, rerouting power, and slowly regaining partial control. The AI's voice continued, calm and mechanical. "Override detected. Stability restoring." Elias exhaled, relief washing over him. "Got it, partial control restored." Sarai nodded. "Good, now we must act fast." The hunters will not wait. Together they rerouted the ship's power through the structure's energy conduits, amplifying shields and creating a new diversion. Holographic projections of multiple ships appeared around Titan, confusing the hunters and forcing them to scatter. Elias felt a surge of pride. They were not just surviving, they were outsmarting the enemy. Humanity's creativity and adaptability were proving stronger than raw technology. But the danger was far from over. The hunters regrouped, firing coordinated strikes that tested the limits of the structure's defenses. Elias adjusted power flows, amplified shields at weak points, and synchronized with Sarai's guidance. Every decision mattered. Every second counted. Hours passed in a tense rhythm of attack and counterattack. The hunters were relentless, but Elias and Sarai adapted, using strategy, intelligence, and the structure's energy to stay ahead. They were becoming a formidable team, blending human ingenuity with alien knowledge. Finally, the hunters withdrew temporarily, regrouping in orbit above Titan. The chamber's lights dimmed slightly, the energy pulse slowing as the immediate threat passed. Elias leaned against the console, exhausted but exhilarated. Sarai turned to him, her glowing eyes reflecting pride. "You did well. Few humans could adapt so quickly under pressure. The structure recognizes your abilities." Elias nodded, catching his breath. "We survived, for now, but they'll return." "Yes," Sarai said. "They will. We must prepare, learn the structure's full potential, synchronize with the ship completely. Only then can we face them with confidence." Elias felt a sense of resolve. He had faced impossible odds before, but this was unlike anything he had imagined. Yet he refused to falter. Humanity had always survived through courage, adaptability, and determination, and he would prove it again. He walked to the edge of the chamber, looking out through the reinforced viewing window at Titan's frozen surface. The hunter vessels were distant now, but their threat was ever present. He clenched his fists, determination hardening like the ice outside. "We're not done," he said, turning to Sarai. "We need to plan our next move. We can't just wait for them to attack again." Sarai nodded. "Agreed. The structure can enhance your ship, predict enemy movements, and even assist in counterattacks. But we must act strategically. The hunters are powerful but predictable in their patterns. That is our advantage." Elias smiled faintly. "Then let's use it. We'll make them regret chasing us here." For the first time in hours, a sense of calm settled over him. They were exhausted, yes, but they had survived. Together, human courage and alien knowledge had created a powerful alliance, and now they had the structure's energy to guide them, enhancing their chances of survival and giving them hope against an enemy that seemed unstoppable. As Titan's icy landscape stretched endlessly outside, Elias realized a truth he had always known, but now felt more deeply. Humanity's greatest strength was not technology or numbers or weapons. It was the ability to think, adapt, and persevere in the face of impossible odds. And with Sarai at his side, sharing knowledge, guiding strategy, and standing as an ally, Elias knew they could survive the next attack, and perhaps even turn the hunters' relentless pursuit into a victory. The battle was far from over. But for now, in the heart of the ancient structure beneath Titan's ice, humanity and alien ingenuity stood united, ready to face whatever the universe could throw at them. Titan's icy winds howled outside the reinforced walls of the ancient structure. Commander Elias Ward stood beside Sarai, both of them examining the ship now enhanced by the structure's energy. The hunters had regrouped above the moon, their vessels forming a tight, intimidating formation. The final confrontation was imminent. Elias clenched his fists, feeling the weight of responsibility settle on him. "This is it," he said, his voice steady despite the tension. "We either fight smart or we don't survive." Sarai's glowing eyes met his. "We fight smart together, trust in your instincts. Humanity's creativity and courage are our greatest weapons." Elias nodded. For hours, he and Sarai had synchronized the ship's systems with the structure's energy. Shields now shimmered like a living force field. Energy pulses could be redirected at will, and predictive algorithms gave them insight into the hunter's next moves. Yet Elias knew technology alone would not win this battle. It would take his judgment, adaptability, and decisiveness. The first hunter vessel struck. Energy beams sliced through the icy atmosphere, but Elias had anticipated their trajectory. Shields flared brightly, absorbing the impact. "Divert power to the lower shields," he shouted. Sarai adjusted the structure's energy flow, amplifying the redirection of the attacks. The hunter vessel faltered as beams bounced back, striking nearby asteroids. The first blow had been absorbed. They were ready. Elias glanced at Sarai. "Now we strike. Follow my lead." The ship surged forward, powered by the alien energy. Holographic decoys flared outward, confusing the hunters as the real ship moved unpredictably. Elias directed energy pulses toward the lead vessel, forcing it into evasive maneuvers. "Good," Sarai said. "They are reacting. Keep the pressure." Elias's mind raced. Each decision had consequences, and hesitation could mean destruction. He rerouted power again, creating a feedback loop that disrupted the coordination of the hunters. Energy pulses rebounded off their formations, scattering their fleet. The hunters, powerful as they were, had not anticipated human ingenuity combined with alien guidance. Hours passed in a tense rhythm of attack and counterattack. Elias learned to predict patterns, improvising new strategies as the hunters adapted. Sarai's insights and knowledge of their tactics were invaluable, but it was his ability to make quick, decisive moves that turned the tide. Finally, a chance appeared. The lead hunter vessel moved too close to a dense field of Titan's ice cliffs. Elias seized the opportunity. "Now, Sarai," he shouted. Sarai concentrated, channeling the structure's energy. The ship released a controlled pulse that a